Is. Oh, we're live.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Today we have a guest. Me and Stacy have a guest tonight. Her name is Lynn, and she is a star seed. And we're going to get into her story, but first I'm going to say a prayer for everybody. Archangel Uriel, I ask to receive the divine healing feeling of peace within every cell of my body, so that my mind, body, and soul resonate with divine peace. I also ask that you send protection from God and all the angels of heaven to raise the frequency of us and all the people that are watching now and the replay. Amen. And so it is. Okay, there's two people watching, or is that you on there, Stacy? It's you?
It's me.
Oh, well, it's not me. I got off of there. Anyway, hi Lynn.
Hello.
Um, when did you wake up? When did you
I
know that everything was that shit crazy?
Well, I had always been uncomfortable with the government. I always felt the government was crooked, always, for years and years and years. And I had a hip replacement. Was it the hip replacement? Yeah. And I was in rehab, and I had my phone, and I was just wandering through, looking at videos, and I ran across a gentleman that was a geoengineering professional, and his video was on geoengineering. And well, I'm into science and stuff, so I started watching it. That was when I really began to realize that shit wasn't what it's supposed to be, because he was talking about the weather, modifications and stuff that, I mean, back and then I was able to be scared and stuff because I didn't know enough yet, and it scared the bejeebus out of me. I watched him a couple times and unsubscribed to him, and to this day I haven't watched back. But that was my first venture, and then I realized at that time YouTube still had all the channels on them. And so I started looking at things and researching and going, whoa, it was just like tons of neat new things that I was finding that I had no idea. I ran into Ishmael on one of his very, very first interviews, and I go listen to him and go, wow, okay. And then I listened to an interview put on by a guy by the name of Prime, and he was interviewing Elena Dan. And this was before she was messed up.
Well,
And
she's not anymore.
What?
I'm starting to believe that she's really not messed up.
Whether she is or isn't, this was when she first came out. She had her book out, and she was discussing with this Prime all these different aliens. And I'm going, this makes sense. This is right.
Yeah.
And it all just fit. And so I called my sister up, forwarded the video to her, and says, you got to listen to this, but listen to it with an open mind. Well, she wasn't as awake as I was, or even close to where I was. It didn't go far with her. But I kept going and kept searching and finding stuff out. And then I started running into the rabbit holes. I mean, I found, things were coming off of YouTube. So I joined Telegram, I joined Rumble. I was on, I think I was on 4 or 5 every channel that there was, I opened up something on all of them. Most of them had nothing. And I was on Facebook, never went on to Instagram or the other one that's like that, the one that's the music, can't think of its name right now. TikTok, yeah, never went on that one. But eventually I started weeding them out and getting rid of some of them. And then there was Patreon, where you went on there and you got no info unless you paid for it. Well, I got rid of that one too. But as I'm digging through and reading and learning, I'm finding stuff on Telegram that was enough to raise the hair on your arms. And so I found all that information out about the Clintons and Obama and trafficking. And I spent, and I was still working full time. So I was on the computer all night long trying to stay awake at work and do my work. And I was old enough to retire, and then COVID hit. And I worked from home through that time, because then it made it even easier to spend more time researching on the internet and reading, watching videos and stuff. And then when it was time to go back to work, they wanted me, because I did not get vaccinated, wanted me in a closed room with the door closed, and I was supposed to wear a mask the whole time and basically hide from everybody because I was the dangerous one. And I said, I'm 68. I don't have to work anymore. So I quit, gave him 2 weeks notice, and that was it. I was done. That gave me all day long to research.
Yeah.
And I reached the point where I couldn't take any more of the political stuff. And I learned all I wanted to learn about the child trafficking and all that stuff. And I just kind of I actually quit Telegram and then went totally into spiritual. Had a couple different ladies that I worked with for spiritual healing. One lady, the first lady I went to, she actually ended up compromised herself. She kept looking for more and more information and power and got taken down. Of course, at that point, I had switched to this other lady, and this other lady was way more advanced. She did Reiki, and I found out so much about myself with her. We tracked all my parts of my inner child down. My inner child had actually been separated and split up. And I took probably 3-4 visits for me to find each of the parts and bring them back and talk to them and let them understand that it was okay and I loved them. And so things were fine. And then we went, I was going to see her on a regular basis, and I really woke up into some of my powers unbeknownst that that's what I was dealing with. But I woke up as a light warrior. Once I reached the point through all the spiritual healing and stuff. And so I was actually working with the galactics, battling the dark. I mean, literally fighting. My job was to draw in all the energy from the planet, from the trees, from the water, from the oceans, from the planets, from the universe, weave it all together and shoot it up to the motherships so they could feed all the fighters and protect the soldiers and stuff. When I started doing that, I suddenly became a major target by the dark. So I ran into spells. I ran into problems. They were trying to take me out, seriously. And that's how I ended up in this wheelchair, is because they almost took me out, and I ended up getting put back together again. That's different than I was before, but I'm still alive and I'm still fighting, but now I'm a light worker instead of a light warrior.
Yeah.
I've had many neat experiences. I've ridden on dragons. I've talked to dragons. You guys have worked with the unicorns. I have never worked with a unicorn. I am totally hooked in with all the dragon energy. And I know I send you some unicorn stuff now and then. So
I called my unicorn in today. I called my unicorn in.
With the dragons too.
I did call the dragons in today, the water dragons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had worked
Well,
during that time that I was fighting. I worked with Mother Gaia. I helped her set up a lot of the crystalline grid, and we pulled up. I did some of the workhorse work, pulling up Atlantis, pulling up Lemuria out of the muck, out of the oceans. a lot of the actual crystals themselves that are at all the corner posts of the ley lines and stuff. And so I was doing that, and my God, the dark that we were running into at times was just unbelievable. But we got it, and then once I got hurt, then of course, then I had to quit helping her.
Yeah.
But she actually sent the dragons to me because she wanted me to see what the cleaned up Lemuria and Atlantis looked like, because they're in a higher dimension. They were set up in the 6th dimension, and so I rode the dragons up to that point so that I could see the cleaned up, gleaming, beautiful cities that they are now. And then I got to see fields of wildlife and flowers and a clean ocean, parts of an ocean that were cleaned up and stuff. She just wanted this for me to see what had been taking place since I had left. So once I ascend, I will go back to working with Mother Gaia to continue restoring the planet and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, about Patreon, I was on there as well. They had this girl, she had blonde hair, and I don't know where I found her at, but she was like my news instead, because I stopped watching the news, and I think I was paying like $1.99 to get her stuff. But I did that for about a year, and then I let it go. I'm like, well, I guess everybody else is putting the stuff out too. So
yeah,
I'm
well,
just,
I refused to pay for it. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's only $2 a month.
Yeah, I followed Michelle Fielding. Well, then she left Patreon and set up her own her own TV channel, or whatever she calls it, and charges an arm and a leg to listen to her. And it's like,
Well, she's free now on YouTube.
well, is
like
it the whole thing on YouTube or just bits and pieces? Because that's all I ever would see was like lead-ins. You know, this is what I'm going to be talking about, and if you want the rest of the info, subscribe to my TV channel. It's like,
Yeah,
no.
I've watched her through the one that goes I can't think of his name. Nicholas Vinyamin.
Okay.
I always watched him. I think he's cute. But
Yeah,
I always watched him, and that's how I, started watching her, was through him.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've watched him here and there too. I don't subscribe to him. I don't follow him at all anymore. I mean, I watched him when he interviewed with Ishmael the first time.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I followed and caught every one of Ishmael's interviews that he had with different people all over the world. I bought his book as soon as it became available and read through the book, and it was like, finally, things made sense. It finally opened up parts of me that weren't happy because I couldn't put my finger on what it was. And it's like the history. This is true. This is it. Finally, I was able to be happy. And that was probably one of the neatest things. Parts of that book were hard for me to read.
I never got
the Enki annual part of it, where they were destroying and causing all the trouble. I have battled them enough through the centuries and through my past lifetimes and in past planet lives that I could barely get through that part of the book. Barely read it.
Did you get the book, Stacy? No. I never felt the need to get the book, because I'm like, well, he's going to explain it to me on the video. Why should I go pay for his book? But the first time that I saw Ishmael was on Glimpse and Beyond.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I first saw him.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you even who he was interviewing when I watched him the first time. It was just someone was finally telling truth. Someone was finally coming out with stuff that made sense.
Yeah, talking about the solar flash, but Kimberly Palm says that it's not a solar flash, that it's just an event.
Well, that is what we all signed on for, was called the Great Event. As Starseed, that was our contract, the Great Event. So will it be a solar flash? Now, what was explained in her last video, the energy wave that's going to come through. She didn't call it a solar flash or anything. Jesus, Yahshua did not call it a solar flash. It was a energy flash that was going to clear all the negative beings off of the planet and remove all the narcissist beings off the planet. And that was in her last video that she channeled with him. And it still sounded like there would be a solar flash down the line, but that's first wave, whatever it was not the solar flash that everybody has been talking about.
So she was a patriot to begin with? Is that what you're saying? Is Russ is saying she just became a patriot? She became a patriot. She wasn't a patriot from the get-go?
Well, I'm guessing her information was not, was out there freely, and then she did that maybe as a workaround because YouTube and stuff would like kick you off and demonetize your channel and do stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and that's why she's on. Kimberly Palm is on Rumble. Most of the people that were trying to tell the truth left YouTube and went to the other channels, because then they could at least tell you freely what they were being told. Now, everybody that channels, what?
She was just on YouTube.
Yeah, but she only gave you a teeny bit of information and said, if you want the whole story, you have, and that little bit that you posted she was on over almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's how long she was on YouTube, for almost 2 hours.
No, I listened to what you posted and it was about 10 minutes.
No, it was like 10 seconds.
It wasn't long. It wasn't enough of anything. That's what you posted. And so I don't, to get the whole story, I watch on Rumble, because then she doesn't cut stuff out. Because otherwise, even Ishmael can't give you the whole stuff without worrying about getting hacked on YouTube. Nobody can anymore. But anyway, so beyond that, I've got this book. I've bought other books that I have found that have been very interesting. The one I sent you that I told you about, which was the Palladian Master Teachings, was an excellent book that I read. But I ran, while I was going through all of this after COVID, I had joined a group, and this was before I got hurt, called Connecting Consciousness. And it was an international group run by Simon Parks. And I joined the Wisconsin group, and it was the coolest thing because nobody was talking. It was after the COVID ended, the worst of it, and people wouldn't communicate. People didn't want anything. And the Connecting Consciousness group, we would go on Zooms every week and just chat about anything that was coming up, spiritual, all kinds of stuff. Well, then the group started meeting and going to different places for lunches and things. I drove 4 hours one way to meet up with the group and have a lunch with people that I could talk to.
Yeah.
Well, down here in Madison, I did a local gathering, and I had 3 people attend. There was 4 of us. One of the people that attended was a gentleman that lives in Portage, which is just a small town north of here, where I live. And he is actually a quantum healer. And so as we were in this small little gathering, and I don't need help, Kat, move along. He's explaining all the different things that he has done. And I go, okay, so can anybody work with you to go through your healing? Because his quantum healing was done strictly by vibration and frequency. And so I got a hold of him, and he tested my body out and came up with a huge list of stuff that I was out of balance with and had problems with, things that were causing my health problems, things that need major repair. And I'm going, how much is that going to cost if I have you fix it? Well, the total bill he came up with at the time was $1,500. And I go, oh, I don't have 15. But he did it in sections. So I picked what I wanted him to work on, and then I would pay, parts of it here and there. And he did so much for me physically. I had Lyme's in me. I had Epstein-Barr in me. I had all kinds of physical things with my blood and my organs and stuff. And he fixed all of that. I had rheumatoid arthritis for 30 some years, and it's gone. I don't have it anymore. So I met him through Connecting Consciousness. Once I ended up in the hospital, I had a hip replacement. At that point in time, it was 12 some years old, and it was disintegrating and dissolving in my body. And I ended up in the hospital and had to have major surgery for them to remove a huge abscess and put in a new hip and stuff. And I just like while you're sitting in the hospital, I spent more time learning things and doing things. And at that point in time, I was in communication, and I had already become telepathic. I was in communication with all my masters, my spirit guides. They would send me visions to keep me going and perk me up. I met a Pleiadian. I thought he was Pleiadian at the time. I now know differently, but met someone during the time when I was doing all this light warrior work. Well, he'd show up at the hospital. And when I say show up, it was in visions, basically. And they kept me going. It made my life so much easier being able to communicate with all these different, and I mean, when I'm talking the masters, I'm talking the whole group of them. I was invited into councils to sit with them, just to listen. Ran into some that didn't appreciate me and being invited in, but oh well. So as I've gone through this whole process, things have changed. Now, you had asked once, because I communicate with my body, my higher self.
Yeah.
The person that started me on that path was the quantum healer, because he was connected to the universe, and that was how he figured out all the different things that needed work on your body. And he showed me what's called muscle testing, or kinesiology. And you just put your hands together like you got making a chain and ask, not that you can see this in any shape or form, but you ask yourself yes or no questions. And if you ask a question that's your higher self or your angels, whoever you're working with, says no, your fingers don't stay together, they pull apart. If you ask a question that's truthful or correct, they stay together. And that's how I started learning to be telepathic, was through that, because yes and no questions are a pain in the butt, because if you don't know the question, you can't ask it. Yeah. And I get so frustrated because it's like, I don't know, what questions to ask. But eventually I went from just the finger pulling to where I was actually asking the questions telepathically or in my mind and getting answers.
So tell everybody again what they have to do with their fingers.
Take your finger here, one hand. You take your finger, the other one, and put them together like you're making a chain. Remember when you were making the Christmas tree, strings of paper, you would tape them together, make a chain?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. So start out and you go, is my name Lynn? My fingers will stay together. You ask if your name is, now if I ask, am I 30 years old? Heck no, my fingers will not stay together. You cannot keep them together.
So they're together, but they go apart.
They come, your fingers totally break apart. Yeah. And that's how I started my telepathic journey. And now, like I said, I talk to angels. I can talk to the masters. I have talked to Source. You get out of the way. I've talked to planets. I've talked to spaceships, motherships. Let me be specific. Talked to Lyrans. I talked to the dragons. I've talked to all, but without those first steps, I would not be able to communicate with any of them. But it's kind of like you guys are using the pendulum.
Yeah.
You do the same kind of questions and stuff. This is just more intimate because you're tied straight to your, yeah. I never tried that. I've never tried it because I didn't need it. And even now I can, I verbalize, I talk with all my body parts even. I still catch myself doing the finger tap, finger pull, even though I can get a yes or a no.
And some people are able to do it by standing still, and then if their body leans forward, it's a yes. And if they go backward, it's a no.
I have a veterinarian who is a homeopathic veterinarian, and she comes in and treats my dogs, and she treats me. Actually, she has enough notes that if I ever do want to write a book, I can just get all of her notes. But that's what she does. She stands up and leans forward and goes backward. And there are times I swear she's going to fall flat on her face or fall over backwards, but she never has. But she uses that method to get the right treatment for the dogs and stuff, because I've had her working on dogs for quite a few years. And she's now legally able to do humans, which in the beginning she was not. She could only do animals, but now she can do people too.
Yeah. Stacey, you doing Kearns?
Yeah.
His chakras. She's going to check his chakras for balance. He says he never had it done, but he has.
He had it done. I used to remember.
You did have it done.
He had it done.
I remember that.
Line celebrates the return of Inky, and Ishmael puts fear in the hearts of listeners, fretting over Inky's return. Ishmael may be an FBI player, in my opinion. I don't think he is. I think he's just out there to get moolah. I really believe Ishmael is a good person. He's a good soul. He really is.
I believe that too. Only he's just kind of been diverted into the world of need of money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's really a good person, Russ. He really is. Yeah, he did create a ruckus with her. I remember that from the get-go. Oh, actually, I was watching her at the same time. And then I started seeing stuff for myself that Ishmael pointed out. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not going to be here. I don't want to be nowhere. But we really don't know, do we? We really don't know who was really the bad guy. Was it Inky or Enlil? How do we know?
I don't remember. All I know is that one spiritual healer that I had hooked up with, whichever one, I don't know which one it is, but she sold her soul to get power and stuff. And her dad, who is the the quantum healer, has hooked up with some of the highest spiritual healers in this whole United States and around the world to try to heal her. And it gets her almost to where she's back to kind of what she was, and then all of a sudden she falls off and takes off again. And it's sad because she was a really, really nice lady.
Yeah.
But when you search for the wrong stuff and you sell your soul,
don't feel bad, Kearns. My aura was kind of blocked today, Stacey told me. And I can tell you why. It's because the moon The moon really did a number on me. I don't know if it affected anybody out there, but
It usually affects me really big, like the full
for
moon
2
does.
days I was miserable. I really was. It was not me. I know it wasn't me.
Yeah.
This
I
one
woke
didn't
up.
bother me. I think I just released a bunch of stuff a couple weeks ago, so I think I was good to go this time. But normally it really affects me.
I've been releasing attachments for my ancestors. And I didn't realize it, but I had completed that part of the project and went through my whole litany of all the different attachments and asked the universe to release them all. Well, they had shifted me from my ancestrals to the whole consciousness. And I really did what I normally do, I released everything and then went to bed after I finished clearing everything and stuff. I woke up in the middle of the night freezing to death. Now my room I sleep in was 76. It should have been plenty warm. I felt like I was in a bath of ice water. Wave after wave after wave.
You wouldn't be able to be at my house because I keep my air at 68. But last night I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep a wink last night. I was up all night long until 6 o'clock this morning. I was finally able to fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it turns out that the reason I was going through that was I was actually changing some of the energies from these attachments and completely dissolving them. And they were from the collective, and a lot of them were really dark. And it was the dark stuff that I was clearing. And for 2-3 hours, I froze, wave after wave of ice, and it just came right up out of the chair. I couldn't get warm. Finally, I threw a second whole blanket over me. Now, mind you, my room is, like I said, 76. It is not cold, but it felt like I was in a refrigerator with the door closed. I've never been so cold. But once I transformed all that crap and sent it off to where it was supposed to go, my body temp came back up and I was fine.
Daddy, not Nadine. I was thinking, who is Nadine? Who is she talking about? I didn't know what that meant. So you think Enlil is the baddie? I don't know, and I don't really care. I don't care who's bad and who's not. I'm not hanging out with none of them.
Who's bad?
I don't care. Just like I don't care about the contest coming up. I don't care. I'm just into myself. I'm into being spiritual and loving God and loving the divine and connecting every day, doing my affirmations and just trying to be a better person in this life. That's about it.
Yep.
All that outside crap, I don't care. I really don't. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't look at it because I do. But I don't give it any energy to it, you know? No. I'm like, I don't care. People send me stuff all the time.
Yeah, I follow a bunch of channels with the stuff that's going on, but I don't give it any of my energy. It's just basically kind of, I mean, I guess I still want to, I mean, I personally am waiting for the EBS so I don't have to worry about voting. I want them to clear and finish and get it over.
I don't even know if that has come. Is that really coming? I mean,
I believe it will. It just depends on
10 years from now.
No, it won't be 10 years from now. Watching the stuff that I do watch, most of it I do not post or transfer to the Earth Galactics. Things are really, really heating up, and so it's coming. Whether it comes before the election, I personally hope it does, but if not, then Space Force will have to show everybody the truth that they cheat, lie, and steal, because you know very well if we do have an election that they're going to do the same thing they've done for the last 50, 60, 100 years of elections. So,
Yeah.
but I live with a normie, so there are certain things I still have to kind of keep an eye on and be prepared for. Because if the EBS happens and we go into the 10 days or 3 weeks or 6 weeks of lockdown, got to make sure that I'm at least able to take care of the family.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that you need to have water and food and everything for the 10 days, but they've been saying that for four years now.
Yeah, I know.
You
That
know,
was one of the.
It's hard
That
to
was
keep
the.
stuff like all the time, like stocked up, right?
Well, and
Constantly
it
prepared.
will happen. It will happen. It's just a matter of when that timeline comes up.
Ooh.
which card do you want, Mary? Do you want the Masters or the Unicorns? Put it in there and I'll pull one for you. I'm sure you probably want the Masters because those are the best ones. Well, the Unicorns are good too. But I have a little prayer that I wanted to show you all.
You mean I babbled for an hour already?
No, it's only 36 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Wait, she wants the Masters. Okay, I'm gonna pull a Masters card. But I have a dream prayer for Archangel Michael for you guys to start saying. And actually, I just found it tonight that I had it in my angel book, and I'm gonna start doing it as well. Ooh. You got Michael and Faith. That's an awesome card. Yep, that's true. Look, I put the book away. I don't know what I'm doing.
Are you?
I know I didn't.
We're getting Lynn's cat.
You can't lay on the phone. Come on, move along.
Okay, Mary, this is your card. The universe needs you. Where you are now is where you are most needed. Consider yourself strategically placed, even where you are is less than ideal. Know that there is an opportunity there to align with purpose and meaning. If you are experiencing a dark cloud of uncertainty or fear, call in Archangel Michael in faith to light up the way. If you have been asking to be shown your life purpose, know that where you are right now and what you are facing will help you be a greater service. Your life is destined to be aligned spiritually and to a higher purpose. And this particular challenge is actually the moment when you break through into a greater understanding of who you truly are and why you are here in this specific time. See, that's a beautiful card.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual calling, divine protection, breakthrough moment. Michael is often with you. He might be your spirit, one of your spirit guides. He might be. I can check on my pendulum and ask him. He might be your archangel. You want me to check on my pendulum? Or Stacy can too.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying yes,
Yeah.
that he's one of your guides. One of my guides is Raphael, Archangel Raphael.
All right. Did you just click on cat?
Huh? The cat did. You've seen him in your dream?
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
I don't know how to get it back. I lost the picture of you guys.
Oh, we see you.
Well, she's on her
Oh.
phone, so she may have to like swipe it to go back.
I'll remove you and then put you back if you want to see if that works.
Well, let me figure it out. It just says I'm on the chat right now. I don't know how to get out of it though. The
Well,
cat.
we can still see you and hear you. See,
Okay.
StreamYard is good.
That's good because all I see is now the chat.
Oh. I've done stuff like that before.
Oh, I got it back.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
back.
there's 3 buttons that you got to press.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I found it.
She got
I
it.
found it. Thank you, Kat.
So does anybody want their chakras checked again? Or not again, but
I want a unicorn card.
okay. Stacey is the person to get the chakras checked. You just use your pendulum to check them, right?
Well, it's easier distance if I'm not with them on distance to check it with a pendulum, but
Yeah, I usually check mine from that energy I commanded a man with love.
a little quicker with a pendulum.
That rhymed. I said, light me up to be all that I can be to get this card for Stacey.
Mary.
Stacey, check her chakras. Ooh, you got a good one. I got this one the other day. Listen to your heart. Awaken psychic abilities. Tune into the infinite.
Listen to your heart.
Let's see. Number 7. Listen to your heart.
Number 7's my favorite number.
See, here's
My
the
favorite number. I can't see it though.
what is going on?
I
Okay.
think it's because of your background. Yeah.
Do you see it now?
I might want to go back and look at
Take
the
this
replay.
background off.
I might want to be able to go back and look at the replay, maybe.
Huh?
I might be able to see it when I go back and look at the replay.
Oh.
Maybe.
With this card, your guidance is to develop and fine-tune your senses. Every chakra sends out an antenna to feel physically into the energies around you. If you are clairsentient, your sacral chakra may pick up the feelings of emotions of others, then absorb them as your own. If this is the case, ask your unicorn to raise your frequency of the sacral chakra so that you are able to empathize spirituality and soothe the pain of others without taking it on. Invite your unicorn to pour light into your solar plexus chakra until it becomes golden. I'm on a live. Then it will send out feelers to seek the wisdom in situations and the higher solutions to deal with them. The greatest psychic center of all is the heart, for when it is illuminated with love, compassion, and empathy, you have a true connection with people, animals, and the angelic realms. You become one with all, and so you are physically attuned to others in every level. Your third eye is a vast chakra for clairvoyance and enlightenment. Your unicorn particularly links to your heart and third eye. So your guidance is to breathe pure white light into the centers and sense them becoming brighter and more sensitive. When you draw this card, your crown chakra is being triggered to send out connections to the universe. Be open to clear cognizance, clear knowing, so that keys and codes of true wisdom and light can be downloaded into you.
Yeah, that totally resonate though, but because of the feeling and taking everyone else's stuff in, because I totally feel everybody else's stuff all the time. Mm-hmm.
I'm actually starting to feel other people's stuff as well. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, I can feel her heart hurting.
Mm.
My heart starts hurting really bad. Like I start getting sharp pains in it whenever I spend a lot of time with her.
Mm.
So I put that in the Telegram group the other day. I am clairaudience as well.
Yeah.
Did you see the info that I posted today where it broke down all the different skills in clairvoyance, clairsentience, there was like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah, let me put the group in there if anybody wants to join.
Because that explained ones that I had never even heard of.
It's Earth Galactics, right?
Yep.
And that's all it says.
Yep.
Let me make sure I'm getting it right on here before I post it. Of course, I spelled it.
If you go into the actual, click on the Earth Galactics heading, there is a link that will show up that you can just send a link out.
I would do that, but I do not have a Telegram on my computer.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So it won't let me do that.
Yeah. No, never mind.
I do it through the chat. I could do it through YouTube real quick. Yeah, maybe I want to join Lynn's Telegram group so you can see her posting.
Yeah, and most of what I post is spiritual. And then there's some animal pictures, and a gentleman that goes by the title of Loop that puts up some pretty colorful pictures that I share now and then.
It's not telling me where I could share it from.
Well, they have to be on Telegram in the first place or it won't work.
I am on Telegram, but I don't know where to go to share it.
Oh, if you go up in, when you the very top part, you click on Earth Galactics by the picture, it'll tell you how many members there are and stuff.
Yeah.
And there is a link in there. You can find a link that can be used to send it out to anybody that is interested.
It may only work if you're an admin, maybe.
Well, she is.
Okay.
I haven't sent it out for a long, long time, so I know it's there though, somewhere.
I don't know where it is.
You might even have to click on the 3 dots up in the upper right corner. Or click on the pencil, and the pencil, it might be under the pencil. Do you see a pencil on the top of that Earth Galactics when you opened it up?
No.
You don't see a pencil?
Nope, it's just a picture.
Do you see the list of all the members?
Yep.
Okay. And there's no pencil up on the top, huh?
No, I can invite members. I can invite members, but it's not, that's all I could do.
Okay. I'll tell you what, once this is over, I'll take a look and then tell you where to go and how to do it.
I think I
said
got it. I got it.
Share the link.
Let me see. I'm going to go in here.
Share the link.
There, I shared it.
Okay.
Does anybody in here? Oh, Terry's already on there. I already told her about it.
Yep.
I don't know if Terry is on Telegram or not.
I think it's Terry that just posted some tinctures. Is she the one that does the tinctures?
Yeah.
Yeah, she just posted some tincture stuff today. I think it was burdock root or something like that.
You feel they're evil. Sometimes I can feel people. It's evil. Like I can tell to stay away from them.
Yeah.
Hi, Lutz. One time I went in Walmart and I felt through my heart, I felt people hurting. They were hurting. And I had to clear myself when I left. That's the first time that ever happened to me, but there was a bunch of people in there. And I was like, what is going on? Why does my heart chakra hurt? And that's what it was.
Yeah.
But here's this prayer that I wanted to tell y'all about. It's a prayer to Archangel Michael. I'm not even sure where I got it. I know it's from a long time ago. I call upon Archangel Michael to enter my dreams this evening in order to guide, protect, and raise my vibration and assist me with performing my personal needs of rest for my physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional self are met first, and then offer to be in service in my remaining dream state to the light as needed at the discretion of my highest self and Archangel Michael, ensuring safety in this experience. Amen. It is done. That's a good one, huh? You're asking Archangel Michael to protect you while you work for the light. Why are y'all being so quiet?
I'm typing. I'm talking in the chat.
I guess we're going to end the live.
It's been fun.
See you maybe next week.
Yeah, next week I'm going to hopefully have Melissa on here so she could tell us about her story. And thank you for sharing your story, Lynn.
Yeah.
Welcome.
We appreciate it.
It's not done yet because until I ascend, it's still going.
That's right.
Yeah, I saw a post about the med. I don't even know if those are coming. Who knows?
Well, I told you I had a vision about that.
Yeah, you should tell the people about your vision before we leave.
Oh, okay. I had a vision, and this happened during the daytime. Normally when I get visions, it's like before you fall asleep and you're kind of not totally asleep. But this was in broad daylight, and two people came to my front door, rang the doorbell, and I answered the door. And they said, "We have a letter for you." "Are you Lynn Arneson?" "Yes, I have a letter for you." So they handed me the letter, and inside it was a government letter from the Alliance, the Space Force people, and that they were there to escort me to medbeds. And I'm going, okay, let me see some credentials. And then they opened up. They showed me badges. They showed me what I needed to see. That my higher self said, yes, they are truthfully who they are. And I'm going, so how would you transport me? Because I'm basically stuck in this wheelchair in the house. He says, no problem. We'll just carry you out. So they basically picked me up, and I go, where are we going to? He says, well, at the end of your driveway, our transport's there. There's nothing at the end of my driveway. It was cloaked. Literally, it was cloaked. And as we got up to it, a doorway opened up. They lifted me up into it. It was kind of like a helicopter type, ship type thing. I don't know. I didn't see the whole thing. And I said, where are we going? He says, well, if you drove, it would take you 2 hours. It'll take us 10 minutes. So I got to where we were going, and we chatted, and they just kept calling me ma'am the whole time, which was really weird because these were young, good-looking gentlemen. They landed to wherever it was and lowered me down, and then other people stepped forward and wheeled me into a building, and that was where this daydream, this dream vision thing ended. And it was so real, and I have not had dreams like that in the daytime since I was a kid. And it
you're
just
sitting there, and all of a sudden you just see a vision.
Yeah, well, I was actually cleaning cat boxes when it started. So it wasn't even that I was just sitting there. I was actually doing something.
Yeah.
It just,
It's funny. Cat
so
boxing.
I do believe they exist. It's just a matter of how soon before we actually get to see them.
Yeah. Hopefully it's soon, because I need healing done to myself, and my daughter needs it bad.
Yeah.
She's laid up in the bed. I mean, she could probably get up and be in her wheelchair, but she doesn't want to.
Well, I understand. It's a pain in the butt having to use the wheelchair. I don't enjoy it, but it's the only way I can get things done and get around. And simple things that most people don't think of is like just even reaching into the sink. I can't just go at it straight forward like you would stand in front of it. I have to wheel the chair in sideways.
Yeah.
Turning on my stove is almost impossible. I can only reach the levers for 2 of the burners because they're on the back. I can't turn the oven on. I have to have my 3D partner do that for me, or someone else, if they're here, do it. Simple things that you don't even think of in a wheelchair become almost impossible. I can only reach a part of the refrigerator. I can't reach the whole fridge. Even putting dishes in my new dishwasher is a challenge because I have to I actually cracked a rib reaching over my wheelchair trying to put a kettle into the dishwasher. I heard the crack, and I thought it was my wheelchair I was cracking, and I went to bend over the chair the other day, a couple of days later, and it's like, whoa. And it was like, I cracked a rib. So things that the average person doesn't even think of just becomes a major challenge. And this is all part of my learning. I've asked my higher self more than once what the heck she was thinking of when she signed up for that. Oh, well.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're going to end the show. Thank you all for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
And I'll see you guys probably on Monday. Me and Monique are probably going to do a recording. If her dog does it, that was so funny.
Her dog's like
took her camera down.
It's like her cat. It's attacking animals.
Yep. All right. Good night, guys. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for telling your story, Lynn.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll stay right there, guys. It's not letting me end it.